Affair with the city, you know?
Yeah, oh, absolutely, absolutely. And he's also got a love affair with himself, so he likes to get his...
No.
Like, that's why him and Andy are perfect for each other. They live in like, what, a 2,000 square foot space?
Yeah,
that's still about 10,000 square feet too small for their egos, so...
I know it's real counterintuitive and it doesn't make a whole lot of sense, and the narrative is very disjointed, but I have to go back to Bonneville. It's just calling me.
I think anything that people can do to make themselves feel better post-Katrina, go for it. It's traumatizing.
It speaks so much for New Orleans and its resilience, and I think that's what we're trying to get across, is that we can rebuild anything.
Man, 20, 30 grand into something with 2 bartenders that are pretty much putting all the money into it. Yeah, that's rough.
But he's spending quite a bit of money.
He spent all his money.
Yeah.
More than he has.
Right. Yeah.
On building this. It's his dream.
I especially like how it's being built, with the effort of a lot of people and a group of friends coming together to make something happen, which is it's a really cool way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
From the whole idea of it, I think it's a cool idea that you sit around and talk about. To actually do it, it's kind of stupid, but I understand. You know, hell, these guys aren't rich. They're putting a lot of money into this that they don't have. Andy and I were just talking the other day. I mean, he doesn't have health insurance, okay?
You know, in sports, we call guys the hats. Hat guys. They're the guys with the Buffalo Bills hat, not a Buffalo Bills helmet. Now the guys with the helmets are the guys on the field. You know, are you a hat guy or are you a helmet guy? Do you have the hat of your favorite NASCAR racer, or do you own a fire suit?
You got there, you raced, you were part of the event. Just being in the event program at Bonneville, to me, is being a winner. You know, that's the guy that got off the couch. And it's the guy that gets off the couch that has merit. Talking about it, while interesting, has no merit.
He's a caveman.
Okay.
He's kind of a caveman, and he's building a rocket ship.
I can't remember the last time I saw you and scraped the paint from your face. 'Cause every moment is like push down that keeps us from sliding away. You ever wonder where you got that itch and where the person is that could fit the blame? 'Cause what you thought was lost and can't be found is the whole reason we're still searching today. to make a girl go insane. They walk for miles to find next town, but it looks like it's starting to get late. And what was shown across an empty sky was a train ride in a horrible fate.
In this place, there's a custom for the funerals of jazz musicians. The funeral procession parades slowly through the streets, followed by a band playing a mournful dirge as it moves to the cemetery. Once the casket has been laid in place, the band breaks into a joyful second line, symbolizing the triumph of the spirit over death.
A lot of people talk about the things that they lost in the storm. And what I lost was my career. And I haven't been able to put it back together again.
A flooded car is being transformed into a fast car in the French Quarter. J.T. Nesbitt is working on a Katrina-damaged Lincoln Mark 8 at his Bonneville studio. The so-called stinking Lincoln was given to him by a friend after the storm. Nesbitt is modifying it into a race car. And here's a look at what it's going to look like when it's done. The plan is to enter it into the 2007 World of Speed event in Utah. Nesbitt says when done, the stinking Lincoln should go over 200 miles an hour and win its class at event in September. I'm not sure about that stinking Lincoln name. It's
catchy.
Not flat. Yeah, it's not flattering.
Look, as long as it's fast, that's all that matters.
Well, in that case, call it Blinkin' Lincoln.
Oh, okay. That's a good idea.
All right.
You should suggest that. All right, so we have Jazz Fest.
The whole concept of JT and Andy hanging out in the bar, having a beer, going, geez, you know, this guy's trying to give me this Lincoln. I could see this whole thing happening. I can literally see this drunk happening. And after about 6 beers, it's like, well, dude, what do you think? Well, I don't know. What do you think? We could do that. Of course we can do that. We're men. You know, we could do anything. How fast is it? You know? Wouldn't it be cool to revive? You know, wouldn't it be cool to revive this Lincoln from the dregs that our society is, to make it a race car? You know, to reunite and rejoice in everything that was New Orleans that could be New Orleans. And here's our new promise. And I thought it was really, really cool. The whole concept of, yeah, you know, let's have a beer and build this race car. It won't take much. We can do this.
Bonneville is a dream. It's like being on another planet. Bonneville is the last bastion of non-corporate motorsport. These are guys who all year long build contraptions in their garage. And then when the time comes, they all gather in the same place at the same time to see how fast their contraptions are and see how smart they are. Like, how good are they? Personally, individually, not collectively. It's an individual form of racing. And it's like this. If road racing is like a de Kooning, it's abstract expressionist, it's all over the place, it's very frantic. Bonneville is like color field painting. It's like a Mark Rothko. It's very serene and very beautiful, and the natural environment is such a big part of what Bonneville is. It's, you're racing on the earth.
I would have never dreamed up this project. You know what I mean? I'm happy to be part of it. It's become just as much as an obsession for me, and I'm real thankful to be part of it, but I would have never dreamed it up. It's not my idea. It's not even my thing. I play bass. I've made a commitment, and ultimately my commitment is to the stinking Lincoln, but it's through JT. I really made a commitment to JT in the first place.
Yeah, so is that why you're doing this?
I'm Samwise, man.
You're what?
I'm Samwise.
Samwise?
Yeah. I'm Samwise. And he's Frodo. This ain't my fucking thing. I'm just doing it, I guess, out of friendship.
Our team is going to be so far outside of their comfort zone. Like, talk about brave people. To put all the time and effort and energy into going and doing this crazy, wacky thing, they're going to be so out of their element. They've never done anything like this before. And everybody has their own reasons for going. And that's the best part of it, is that everybody's looking to satisfy something. So I hope that they get satisfaction, and I hope that I get satisfaction.
I think you're a healthier person if when you're not at work, you're doing something that isn't very closely related to what you do for work. I think, somebody who's a waiter who then goes home and cooks for fun, that's cool, but if you're a waiter and you go home and work on bicycles for fun, I think it uses a different part of your brain. And so that's part of what this does for me, is it's using a very different part of my brain. I come back dirty and bloody and bruised sometimes and a little bit sore, and that's great, because that's not something I get to do for work.
The project itself is important to me. Seeing something that, like I say, we took out of the rubble. I was in JT when he first went over to see this car when it was right after Katrina, when it was flooded out, when someone had given it to him. We went over and looked at it, sitting in the mud and in the muck. And after he'd been sitting in the, a couple months after Katrina had come through. And, so, the idea of seeing us do something from Louisiana, go up there and make a good showing, hopefully bring back a class record, and all this from Louisiana, from the rubble of Katrina in New Orleans is important to me.
I guess there's a couple different reasons why I'm doing the car. First of all, I want to have as much experience and that kind of stuff. I mean, in really everything. I want to know how the car works. I want to be able to say that I've done it. I want to be a part of this team. I want to be a part of JT's team in getting this together, really. And another thing is, ever since I've been a little kid, I've always wanted to be an old man with stories. So this is one thing where I can tell my grandchildren one day that I was on a team. We built a car and we raced it at the Bonneville Salt Flats and started it from scratch, basically. So yeah, that would be that'd be a really fun story. So
that would be a good story
and a good documentary, I guess.
This is the second time that a crew from New Orleans has gone to Bonneville. The first time was in 2004, and that was with Chris. I went to Bonneville, I did it, I lived my dream, I built the bike, Chris Roberts rode it. The last time I talked to Chris, I told him I was going back to Bonneville.
Yeah.
And
he wanted to drive for you?
no. I didn't invite him to go with me.
You didn't invite him even to go with you?
No, I didn't. Oh, I should. But I didn't.
You couldn't afford to take the time?
No, he would have gone. He would have gone if I hadn't just invited him. He would have gone.
No, you don't know that.
Oh.
I'm not very mechanically inclined. I'm more.
Nor are a lot of those people that are.
Right, exactly. JT included in some points, but.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no, that's.
Well, explain that.
Well, he doesn't really know anything about designing race cars.
True.
And one of my regulars, who everybody's going to know that works here, does build race cars. Worked for a company in Baton Rouge that builds stock cars and stuff. And with conversations with him, he told me, tell Andy not to put any more money into this. JT doesn't know what he's doing. And that's all I can go on. That's all I can go on. I mean, I'm not that sure on Bonneville, but I don't. Is there even prize money? Are they even gonna? Is there even anything other than to say you did it with 1,000 other guys from around the country that did it?
Is that there are more people that have climbed Mount Everest that are in the 200-mile-an-hour club at Bonneville. Scotty Guthrie made that comment. He's a motorcycle regiment racer and holds more records than anybody else in the Bonneville Salt Flats and motorcycles.
So you feel pretty confident that you're going to be able to start it today, huh?
I think we're going to actually get it started up today. We get everything done, get all the wiring done, and get the fuels. At this point, it's up to Max and I to get our parts done.
You and I now.
Yeah. So
pressure's being taken off me.
Yeah, just trying to share the responsibility with you there.
Go for it.
Started the car.
There you go. How you feel about it, Trevor?
I feel fucking fantastic about it. I haven't been working on it for a year like these guys, but I put 2 months in straight. It's pretty good.
Are you excited now? You're like seeing Bonneville in your head and stuff?
I've been seeing Bonneville in my head since the start of the project, but now I'm seeing it. I mean, I know there's still a lot of work to do, but we're close.
Just thinking about that night when we pulled the engine out. What a crazy night that was. So cold. It took us about 13 hours to take the engine out of the car. It was a blast. It was the first time that Graham worked with us. It was the first time Graham came over and helped us out. Pull that fucking thing out of there. We had so much fun that night. Holy shit, we had a good time. Hearing the engine run made me think about the process a whole lot more. And it made me remember how much all this means to me now.
After we started the car, I kind of realized that there was a million little things that could go wrong that I hadn't thought about before. Fuck! We're taking parts from a couple of different superchargers and trying to make it work in our application. And I thought I had this shit right. And obviously, I misjudged.
Actually taking a car to the Bonneville Salt Flats and racing it is a really long journey. It's a journey fraught with financial woes, it's fraught with technical difficulty. And the vast majority of people, while they think it's easy, learn very quickly that it's an intellectual and physical process that just takes a tremendous amount of effort. The dedication that it takes to get to that effort requires passion. It is the passion that has value.
JT, why are you putting yourself into a box?
Fucking pissed off. Oil leaks. Fucking dry sauce.
See how horrible this all shit is up in here? Yeah. There's no room to work on anything. It's fucking oily and filthy and nasty. Go away.
Okay.
All right. The rule book specifically states that you have to have washers underneath each of the bolts. So I have to get inserts machined by a fucking local machinist to put in here, and then we put washers and nuts on top. We have to have 20 of them made. 20. It's going to cost a fucking fortune. And even then we might not pass test. Come on, thread on, fucker, thread. Ah! It's a fucking deal. How come it threads right on when it's outside of here? I assumed that they would have a Holley carburetor at his shop where he could like put a carburetor on it and see, oh, okay, I see, well, the linkages don't work. No, they don't have anything like that. Not happy.
Are you happy?
No.
You're not happy?
No.
You sure you're not happy?
No, I'm pissed off, man.
Are you mad?
I'm very angry. I just want one fucking part that I spec out for the car to be made and fucking bolt on. Just one part.
Has any of them done that?
No. Remember the oil pump fiasco?
Yeah.
Remember it was leaking because it got dropped and fucked up and I had to take it all apart? And then we had to cut the subframe. Remember cutting the subframe to fit the oil pan?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a $3,000 dry sump system that we had to then spend hundreds of hours to adapt and make work on our fucking engine. It's just people ain't asking me questions. They're not asking me the right questions. Check it out, dude.
That's Frankenberry.
By your command. It's Frankenberry's head. Look at that
such
shit.
a great,
Isn't that awesome looking, man?
piece of modern art.
And so, why don't you tell everybody what that is? Because I know what it is.
This is the oil tank for the car, but this started out as an iced tea machine.
I'm not trying to stop them from doing this. But you know what, there's just to be a point where you have to figure out what your passions are and maybe adapt them a little bit. So this is the time to do it right now. They have the time, they have the energy, they have the expertise to do this. But you don't at the same time do something so stupid and sacrifice financially your life for 5 years. I mean, this is, if you have it with excess cash or something, that's fine, but they're going into hock. They're spending all their time on this, which is their time.
Are our street wheels not safe? Are they not going to work?
They're sort of 50-50.
You asshole.
I can't send them back.
I know.
It's a third set.
So, what are they like? So, do they need to be balanced or they need to be...
They need to be straightened.
Straight.
But they're already powder coated, so we can't straighten them.
That makes me feel good about driving the car.
The wheels are just a little wonky. Yeah, probably. I need a cocktail now. I'm going to get drunk.
I think it's a bad idea to drive the car to Bonneville.
I mean, I know they're planning on driving the car some 3,000 miles.
Right.
We'll see. If they get pulled over, they're fucked. Obviously, if the car breaks down, they're fucked. I mean, to me, it's kind of like riding the racehorse to the race. You don't do that.
Okay.
But JT's got his reasons, so.
He's always had this sort of romanticized vision of racing where, you know, you take back when we were first hanging out years ago, it was all about motorcycles, you know, so, and he always wanted to build a race bike and ride his race bike to the races, you know. But it just doesn't happen, you know. I mean, it just,
Right, because the car's not built for the road. It's
Exactly.
built for the
It really is. It's nice that it's street legal and it's cool that you can tool around town and stuff on it. But even last night, not all the bugs are worked out or whatever. But it was starting to overheat already. And we drove like 4 miles.
Right.
So it makes me nervous.
Yeah.
For these guys, because all that work, you want to see the result.
Yes. Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
And a pickup truck and a car dolly shouldn't be that unobtainable.
Right.
I mean, somebody out there wants to go do this, and you can rent a U-Haul car dolly. It's not like you need a semi-truck to take this thing there or anything.
Right.
It'd be pretty simple.
Yeah.
So.
Driving a car on the street, driving a car on the Bonneville Salt Flats are two radically separate issues. The things that are required to get to Bonneville without getting thrown in jail, mufflers and real tires, and then you have to have race tires, and you have to have race wheels, and it's a very complicated thing. And having never raced a car at Bonneville, I'm not sure that's the best idea to do that, but it is kind of what it is, and we'll see how that works out. That's tough, especially from Louisiana.
Have you tried to convince JT to do otherwise?
I have. I don't know that he's going to see the light, though.
Yeah.
I think, frankly, the chance of something going wrong is maybe when they're practicing or when they're driving out there than actually on the track.
Today is our last Sunday. So not only do we have to go over the whole car, get everybody familiar, make sure that everybody knows the terminology and what parts are, we have things that we still have to fix. So I sure hope Graham and Mac show up. And I guess lastly, we lost Neil. Neil ain't going to Bonneville, which is terrible. I really wanted Neil to go.
Yeah, that breaks my heart. That sucks not having Neil. So we got Todd.
We may have picked up Todd, but we lost Trevor, we lost Neil. I don't know. I think we picked up Todd. He said he wanted to do it, so we'll see if he goes.
I didn't feel like I had the right to be there. I thought that, even though, there were various reasons that they couldn't go, my seat in the car and my seat in the pit belonged to either Trevor or Neil.
Give again.
Something more, second time you score, find me and shout it out. So don't let it ride, that 504 car drive, I'm gonna have a day.
Hey man, what happens when the sun goes down?
The loss is precious when the sun goes down. The sun goes down, you're gonna find yourself with the night right up. Think of me when you look at the night sky. A rocker, a roller, not a controller, laying a rubber road to freedom.
Man, we ain't never seen nothing like this here in all my whole life. I like it. That's cool. Y'all really got some, man. Just hang in there.
Thanks a lot, man.
Watch out, man. Y'all be careful. Good to see you.
Thank you.
Good luck with your car. I like it.
We got a bad situation here. It's something that I was afraid of. The welds that I put on the backside of these studs, because they're the wrong studs, I had to adapt them to this hub. We were pulling them apart, sure enough, we got cracks in the welds. It's unsafe. It's Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon, and we're trying to find a TIG welder in Keechaw, Louisiana.
You're in the drag racing of some sort?
Well, land speed racing.
Land speed?
So what's the verdict, man?
You're ready to break the record. That's the verdict. Break the record.
Hey, Mutt, what you doing?
Performing surgery here after you dropped the jet into the engine.
After I dropped the jet? Don't you mean you dropped the jet? You know, what's really funny to me is when Mutt likes to take video footage of people who like do stupid things, like drive off.
There's a huge difference between dropping a fucking tiny little jet
like drive off
with the gas pump still in your car. There's a world of fucking difference.
Hey man, that last jetting change we did looks pretty good. We're showing air-fuel ratio is looking 1 bar in the green. Zoom in on it. Yep. Our water temp is a little low, but that's fine. Oil pressure is under 50, which is a little disconcerting because we've been running 60 the whole way out here. So I think our oil pump might be getting a little bit tired. It's just the pipes are real wet, and we can smell it in the car. It's leaking transmission fluid.
Yeah, that's what I was saying last night when I had those little driblets all over the gas tank.
Yeah, that's what it is. See how the underside of the car is all wet?
Yep.
We got lots of problems. We just wheeled into a Walmart first thing in the morning, Sunday morning. They're the only people that's open. We're in the middle of nowhere in Kansas. And I wanted to do an oil change and have a look at the transmission because it was making bad noises all last night. But the transmission was 2.5 quarts low on fluid. We're burning through fluid. We got a leaking rear main seal in our transmission. It's Sunday. There's no such thing as a shop that's open. And we don't know what we're going to do. So the next thing we're going to do is get in touch with Wes Potter, who's organizing the event in Bonneville, and find out if maybe we can limp all the way through Kansas to Denver, then on to Salt Lake City. That's it. That's the word from the road, man. It's a hard life. I knew this was going to be just like this, and I told everybody. And now we got people dropping off. Grant and Wes and Max are too tired. They're, 6 hours behind us because they stopped to sleep. Our guys in the truck behind us are tired and getting cranky, and they want to pull off and go to sleep. But we ain't got time. Tech inspection and pit setup is on Tuesday morning at 7 a.m. We do not have time to fuck around.
I give us 50-50. We got a leaky rear transmission seal. Do you know anybody in Salt Lake City who's got a shop, a mechanic, some kind of lift? What do you got for me? Okay, so you do have somebody who could they squeeze us in tomorrow morning? Okay. Well, here's what we're doing. We're hopping from Walmart to Walmart, trying to keep fluid in this transmission until we can get someplace where we can get the new seal for it. Fortunately, it's the rear seal, right? But I can't get to it to pump fluid into it on the side of the road, and I don't have a lift, and I haven't slept in about 36 hours. Cool, man. How's the salt look? Tell me it's good. It's drying. Oh man, please tell me we didn't go through all this to not be allowed to run. Okay. He said it's drying out and that he thought that it would be okay. But
after this shit, man, I'll go after the hairdryer.
We're 3 hours outside of Denver. Yeah. I am a fucking robot. Do you understand me? I am a robot from outer space. Yeah, you're missing the shit, dude. We're fucking heavy. Charlie is in the bush shooting at us right now, and you're like in some fucking. You're on fucking MASH, the comedy series. Okay, like it wants the precious. You understand? What? It wants the precious. You're missing out on like such a cool experience. I wish you were here. We're all so fucking delirious. Alright, man, I got this idea. Okay? Here's what we're gonna do. When we pull into this next Walmart to fucking top off the transmission, we're gonna put an access porthole through the fucking tranny hump in the floor so that we can fill it up anytime we want. We can fill it up while we're driving the motherfucker. We don't need a lift no more. We're gonna get there. What's that? We're gonna get there. Yeah, dude, we can. That'll work.
Why don't you tell us what's going on?
All right, what we're gonna do is we're gonna create an access port to our transmission fill.
Why?
The problem is we can't get to it unless you have a lift.
I know, but why do we need to do this in the first place?
Because tranny fluid is where transmission's getting hot. It's puking fluid all up inside the compartment, and if we don't poke a hole in it and start filling it, it's gonna burn up. We're not gonna make it. All right, this is how teddy bears go to Venus.
I don't understand.
Teddy bears go to Venus. This is the way that teddy bears go to Venus. We left at midnight on Friday, and we got to Salt Lake City at 3 a.m. on Monday morning. So we did 2,000 miles in 51 hours straight. Is that right?
Yeah.
2,000 miles in 51 hours with working on the car the whole fucking time. Every fucking rest stop working on the car. Fixing shit that broke.
Hey, JT, you want to explain what's been going on?
Well, our good friend Chuck let us use his shop, but we got a bad problem with our transmission in the rear. The seal was leaking.
Just been bolting the transmission now, huh?
Yeah, the back half of it. The back half of the transmission has to come off. Man, this transmission looks like it got dropped right here, which smushed all this stuff over, right? And the bushing fried. You can see it in there. It's really toast.
Let's find the love we had back then.
All seasons won't be here till tomorrow.
Okay, what about the hell's up? Oh, you didn't cook the fire extinguisher, CJ. Get back up there, make sure the truck went on.
Now you trip it, dog. Is that a fucking battery? That's no battery ass.
Pull yourself up.
Now there's one pin to go out.
Fuck. He has our bottles. Son of a bitch. Oh, shit.
What's gauge shows it empty?
You did it. You punctured it, dog.
Yeah, you must. Maybe I should go a lot harder than that. Stop, man.
I need to sell. Yeah, man, look, I got a bad problem, dude. I need a fire bottle. I gotta get one immediately, man. We had an accidental discharge on our fire bottle. It's an FX 200. I'm looking, yeah, FX 200. Do you have any in stock ready to ship? You do? See this? This is where the dream time starts. This is where it all starts right now. Cool, huh?
This is somewhere over the road.
Well, good morning. Ever seen a more beautiful day? Okay, by raise of hands, I want to see everybody that expects to set a record, get in the 2 club, make it into the 150 club, 130 club. Good. Optimism is high. We like that.
I'm going to change out the supercharger belt to the smaller belt so that we can run a smaller top pulley. Smaller top pulley means more boost, more horsepower. Smart, huh?
Not bad.
You're turning the street car into a race car before your eyes. So I got to put a pack over it because they're going to, tech inspection is going to consider this part of the firewall.
Okay.
When we get back out into the salt, we want that front end as close to the ground as possible. Especially once we get the skirt on, which is the next step after we get this off. We got to keep all the air in front of and over the car and none of it under. So getting the front end as low to the ground as possible is the key to that.
I'm on attack. This is a year and a half worth of work. So if they fail us and they won't let us run, and there's nothing we can do about it, then it's a year and a half worth of work for nothing. So let's go.
The safety requirements at Bonneville are really pretty huge. I mean, you think about all the driver suits that are required, the fire systems. It's not that big a deal. Those are all hoops to get through. The reality is that each and every one of those different safety items traditionally was a rule that was written in the blood of our friends. And they take those rules very seriously.
You gotta help him.
That's a really high shot.
It's all right for the crew to help him get in.
Can somebody else get me in? That would be awesome.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
You can't help him get out. Right.
Yes.
Oh, great. Good.
So you guys need to help him get in, because when you get up on that line and the guy saying, you're next, man, and you're not dressed, you're in trouble.
Right. And look at them all jump to help.
Yeah.
They don't really JT, put the goddamn camera down. Help us hold the camera.
It is. It's wrong. You need a marking pin or something to mark that spot, but you got to get that right.
All right, you want me to do it right now?
Yeah, do it.
About ready?
Hey, put your visor down, Andy.
Set. Go.
Awesome. Tell me whether we passed tech inspection.
You got it all all the discrepancies fixed pretty good.
You ready, Rocket Man?
You gotta understand, that car that we built, that sat in floodwaters and loved ones died. And we were really out here trying to make them proud. And I went home yesterday just feeling terrible.
Oh, no, that's not what I...
This is how we do it in New Orleans. There you go, that's a t-shirt from us.
Sweet.
And if you're not a drinker, just keep this as a souvenir. But if you are a drinker, this is a great bourbon from the New Orleans racing team. We all signed the back.
Now I can't drink it because you guys all signed it. You guys are going to go over 200, right?
Well, we're hoping to
go bad, you got to drink it.
So, real sorry. Andy, appreciate it, man. All right. Well, now don't go anywhere because I don't want to scratch or paint or anything. So just tell us exactly what to do. We are at your service.
How do you feel about the experience yesterday with the gentleman who made you guys wash his car?
I think that was Andy took the lead on that, and Andy did the most classy thing I think I've ever seen anybody do. And I learned that was a perfect Bonneville moment. I think that that's a lesson that I hope everybody learns, especially Mutt. I hope Mutt gets that one, because Mutt is a little, he's a little edgy at times, and he's very defensive when it comes to messing with his friends. You know, that's I mean, that's one of his best qualities, is that if you're Mutt's friend, man, he's down for you always. But I think that showed Mutt especially that when you let go and you get inside people's hearts, it may be a little bit harder, but in the long run, man, that's how you win. And that's how we're winning here at Bonneville. Because we are in the hearts of everyone out here. There's nobody out here. There's nobody out here who doesn't love us. It's a great feeling. That makes me very happy. We've already got their love, and I think today we're going to earn their respect. We're going to go fast today. I can feel it.
And I understand why he gets so choked up about being out here, because JT really wants to be loved badly. I get it. I get what this means to him. You know what I mean? People come to me every day and say, what a great bar, what a great fucking thing you've done for New Orleans. He never gets that.
Yeah.
And he works harder than I do, and he never gets a pat on the back for it. And no, that's real sincere. I know what it's like when he gets choked up. And this is like a home for him. You know, and it is a place where you work through your demons and you figure things out. What do you think of the car, man?
I think it is great. I think you've done a great job on it. You know, for the first time that you've built a car, at least as far as I know.
That's the first time.
You know, everything works. Everything's where it needs to be. Passed tech inspection. You had questions about things. You asked the right people for the things that you did. You did it the right way.
Well, I had a lot of help from a lot of friends.
You had a lot of help from good people along the way.
We got you good to go? Straps are good? How you feel?
Look, get mad at that song.
I just wanted to say, when you took off yesterday.
I cleaned his car too.
Okay, you did.
I cleaned his car. I gave him a bottle of whiskey, man. He's my best friend now.
All right, cool. Yeah, so when you take off, just to be a little ginger, tell you.
You know what? I was just afraid of stalling. I would have been so embarrassed if I stalled, man.
I understand. I know how it is.
Yeah, it was my first time, man.
Okay, well, I'll be back to you.
All right.
Bonneville requires very little skill to drive until it requires skill, and it requires a tremendous amount of skill in a very short period of time.
All right, let's just check it, everything. Make sure you got both armor strength hooks.
You tight?
Okay, you got your fire bottles armed. 5 bottle pins pulled.
Lincoln, I think you like to pass. 160 license you're looking for?
Try to spin out.
There was a great moment for me, the World of Speed trip, where we had made it to Bonneville. We had just driven 2,000 miles in our competition car. We had just fulfilled our promise to go to Bonneville, step one of our promise. And we pull up to that legendary spot where the road ends. There's that sign, the Bonneville sign. We've all seen it, tons of movies. And the road just ends. JT looked at me, and I don't even know if he coherently got the words out of it, but he was kind of like, what do you think, man? What do you think? And all I said was, somewhere over the rainbow. My favorite song as a kid. My favorite song. Because my favorite lyric was, why can't I? I heard that as a little kid, and I just took that as a challenge. And hopefully I live my life exactly like those three words. Why can't I?
Our car did 162 miles an hour. Our car went faster than the fastest winds of Hurricane Katrina. And the line that I painted on that car, the pinstripe, where the floodwaters rose and flooded that car out, man, those waters killed people's loved ones. And for us to go faster than the storm with that car is significant. I'm not sure why, but I think it is. I guess when Chris Roberts was murdered, I got a new perspective on what loss really is. And you know, maybe I lost my career, but man, I didn't lose my life. I didn't lose my father, you know. Like, it kind of put it in perspective for me. So, I'm happy with the outcome. And I'm okay being a bartender. It's okay. It's all right now. We have to go back. We have to go back in 08. We have to break 200 miles an hour. Because God lives above 200. And if you want to see God, you have to go 200 miles an hour.
Holes in mine. I lost my mind. You sewed up my pockets. Holes in mine. Orange thread, two shiny black buttons. Holes in mine. Satin patches on two torn knees. There's a hole in my head.